Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Distribution of water. How is the water distributed and where is it distributed? Well, we all know that India is a vast country and the rainfall is not same everywhere. We know that there are few areas where rainfall is too much, but not everywhere, right? Suppose areas like Rajasthan, areas like deserts of Rajasthan, they don't get as much rainfall as much the east part of India gets, correct? So, some regions have excessive rains while some others have very little rainfall. We all know that, right? That is the reason some regions in our country may have floods because of excessive rainfall, while others may suffer from droughts at the same time because of absence of rain. We all know that there are places where there is too much of rainfall, that particular area may actually suffer from floods, and exactly opposite, the areas which do not get a lot of rainfall, they suffer from drought. Now here there is a map. It is the rain map of India. How much rain does a particular area gets? So I'll quickly explain. We can see the dark blue portion which is above 400. So basically this is the key. So dark blue portion is above 400. So in the map of India, the dark blue portions actually gets more than 400 centimeter of rainfall in an year. Okay, so this dark blue portion is basically in the eastern part of India or on the southern western part of India, which is basically the coastline, the west coastline, right? So the east part of India and the west coastline, few portion of west coastline, they get more than 400 centimeters of rainfall every year. And now the second one, the purple one, the light purple one, which is actually 200 to 400. So the places which have the light purple area, like again the southern western coastline and few part of east, northern east, they basically get the rainfall which is between 200 to 400 centimeters every year. Now the blue portion, the dark blue you can say, it is basically 100 to 200. So basically some part of the North India and central India, some part of central India, this area receives 100 to 200 centimeters of rainfall. Even some part of the southern western coastline, it also receives the rainfall which is between 100 to 200 centimeters. And as we go down, the color is also fading. This is just the key basically. So you can actually check from this whole map which area, which particular portion of India gets how much rainfall. Okay. Now we will talk about water management. How is water managed? How does the wastage of water happen? Well, the water supply pipes are leaking and a lot of water gushing out of the pipes. Suppose there is a water pipe which is broken or it is leaking and lot of water is gushing out. So basically that is wastage of water, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, wastage of water while brushing teeth, shaving, bathing, washing and during many other activities. There are many other household activities, our daily chores that basically affect in the wastage of water. And how does that happen? We generally forget to turn off the tap when we are brushing or when we are shaving or we are washing utensils. So knowingly or unknowingly, we might not do it intentionally, but sometimes it happens, and this is a major cause of water wastage. Most of the water that we get as rainfall just flows away. Sometimes we do not store the rainwater and the rainwater just flows away. However, rainwater is the natural source of water and it just flows away. We are not able to store it. So that is a wastage of water. And leaking taps is another source of huge water wastage. Leaking taps or broken taps are basically another major source of water wastage. Now, we will be talking about rainwater harvesting. Have you ever heard about it? Harvesting means to store. Store what? Rainwater. The rainwater can be used to recharge the groundwater. This is referred to as rainwater harvesting. When we store the rainwater and it's used to basically replenish the groundwater. The level of groundwater should be maintained. How is it maintained? By the rainwater. But suppose the rain is not falling all the time, right? The rainfall is not happening all the time. So if we store that rainwater, the groundwater can be replenished by it. So there are few examples given here, like the state of Nagaland. They have made this kind of a structure to store the rainwater. In Tamil Nadu, they have made a big tank, and the rainwater is harvested in here, right? In Rajasthan, they have made this, a canal kind of a thing, or you can say a small pond kind of a thing. Not a canal, but a pond kind of a thing, where they store the rainwater. And how does this rainwater help? It basically helps in replenishing the groundwater. All right. Now, we will be talking about a beautiful thing called as Bawri. Have you ever heard? Well, let's read about it. There is an age-old practice of water storage and water recharge like the Bawris. Now, basically, a long time back, there was a system of storage of water that was called as Bawri. Bawri was the traditional way of collecting water. It was that time the development was not that much. The science had not developed that much, right? There was no technology in the earlier days. So how did they store water? How did the people in the earlier times store water? They stored water, they collected water in the traditional way in Bawris. With time, the Bawris fell into disuse and garbage started piling in these reservoirs. Bawris were like reservoirs where the water used to collect. But by the time these Bawris were not, they were just rejected. They were not considered into use, and it became a garbage reservoir instead of water reservoir. Right? The Bawris are now being revived. Now that we know that we must store more water, we must do rainwater harvesting, the Bawris are being revived, right? Now, what do we see in these pictures? We see that the water, the soil which is just around the plant is wet. However, the surrounding the surrounding surface is all dry. Even in this picture, the soil which is just near the plant is wet. However, the surrounding is dry. Now, why so? Basically, this is to conserve water, but the plants need irrigation. The plants need water. So, basically, this process is called as drip irrigation. Now, what is drip irrigation? Drip irrigation is a technique of watering plants by making use of narrow tubings which deliver water directly at the base of the plant. Basically, there is a pipe here. You can see the pipes. There is a small tube, you can say a small hole is being done here, or a small tube is being, is kept in a manner that when the water is flowing in the pipe, the small tube is giving water just at the base of the plant, so that the plant gets water and the water is not wasted in just wetting the surrounding surface. So this technique is called as drip irrigation. This is a very beneficial technique to save water. All right. Now, there is a case study. This case study is of Gujarat. Let us read it. What is it all about? Bhojpur in the Kutch area of Gujarat has a very erratic rainfall. So, this place which is known as Bhojpur in the Kutch area, in the run of Kutch area of Gujarat, this area, it receives very erratic rainfall. Sometimes too much of rainfall, sometimes just, scanty rainfall, almost like a drought. So, what happens? The only source of fresh water lies underground because rivers in this area do not have water throughout the year. So the rivers of this particular area, it does not have the water all around the year. The rivers are dry most of the time. They only get filled up by water only when the rainfall happens. And the rainfall is very erratic. Erratic means it is not very, fixed. The months of the rainfall are now not fixed in this particular, for this particular area. So in this area, the only source of fresh water is the underground water. Over the years, demand for water has grown. Obviously, when the people will start living there, or the activities, the industrial or agricultural activities will take place there. So there was a huge demand of water, which actually grew up, which actually increased by the time. The withdrawal of groundwater has far exceeded recharge. Now what happened? The groundwater, it actually depleted. Why? Because there was a lot of drawing out. There was a lot of consumption of the groundwater, and groundwater was not being replenished. There was no rainfall. So how the groundwater would be replenished? So as a result, the water table has gone down alarmingly. There was it was a very shocking, or you can say too much of decrease in the water table happened. In 1989, the villagers, along with a non-governmental organization, an NGO, decided to harvest rainwater. So in 1989, when this kind of a situation happened, that the water table has gone really down, the water has depleted in the ground. So what they did, the villagers in that area, they collaborated with an NGO, and with the help of an NGO, they decided that they will do the rainwater harvesting. They will store the rainwater. 18 check dams were built on the Rukmavati river and its many tributaries. So basically what did they do? They decided to make check dams. Check dams as in place where the water can be stored, right? So they built 18 check dams on Rukmavati river and whatever tributaries were there of that river. The water so collected increased percolation through the soil and recharged the aquifers. Now what happened? Because of those dams, the stored water, it seeped in through the ground and aquifers increased. Remember, we had just talked about aquifers. What are aquifers? Let me quickly again recollect it for you. Aquifers are the structures or the water which is stored between the layers of the rocks beneath the water table. So because of these dams, the aquifers increased. According to farmers, the wells have water now, and the water that flowed into the sea and was wasted has become available for irrigation. Now, when the rainfall has happened, the rainfall happens, the water is being stored, because of which the aquifers have water now. So the wells in that area, they have enough water for the usage, and the water which was wasted, which just flows into the sea, or which was just wasted, the rainwater, that was available for the irrigation now, because of this particular process what they did, the initiative that the villagers and the NGO took. Alright, so this is basically a case study from Gujarat. Now, what role you can play in saving water, conserving water, what you can do? Well, water-wise habits. Here are some habits given, how to use water in a very conservative and in a better way. So what we should do? Use the dishwasher and washing machines only when the load is full. So we all know that most of the people of India, they use washing machine to wash their clothes, or they use dishwasher to wash their utensils. But we must make sure to use these machines like dishwasher and washing machines only when the load is full. Not that just you have three, four vessels and you use the dishwasher, or you have just 2 pair of clothes and you just wash them in the washing machine. No, wait till the machines are full, the load is full. Okay. Second one, mop the floor instead of washing. Instead of just wasting water and washing the floors, instead of that, just mop the floors. That will actually conserve a lot of water. Third one, turn off taps while brushing. We must make sure whenever we are brushing, we must turn the tap water off. We must turn the tap off. Only when we need the water first, swishing up the mouth, only that time we must, open the tap. Otherwise, not that we are brushing and the tap is open and the water is just being wasted. We must not do that. Be very mindful while you are brushing. Okay. Or what else we can do? We must fix leaks. If we find that there is some leakage in the water taps in our house or maybe anywhere in the vicinity, we must get it fixed, or we must tell the concerned authority or the concerned person to get that leak fixed. Alright. And what else? Use a low flow shower head. Basically, the shower which we use for taking bath, or in the bathrooms we use shower. So that shower head should be of low flow. If it is of high flow, there will be a lot of water wastage. So low flow shower head should be used. Alright. Now, what happens when there is water scarcity? What happens to the plants? So now we will be reading effects of water scarcity on plants. Potted plants wilt and ultimately dry up if they don't get water even for a few days. Suppose that you have a pot inside your house, probably in your balcony or on the terrace, and you go out for a vacation to your relative's place or just anywhere for a week. The plant will not get water, right? Nobody will water the plant. What will happen to the plant? Well, the plant will wilt and dry up and ultimately it will die, right? So basically, if the plant doesn't get water, it will wilt and dry. If the plants do not get water, the green character of the planet shall be lost. Plants are green, right? The green character of the planet, Earth's complete surface, a lot of Earth's surface is basically, we know that is covered by a lot of flora, right? So if there is no water or there is scarcity of water, the green character of the Earth will finish off and the Earth will be all yellowish and dry. And there will be a lot of, bad consequences if there are no plants. This means without plants, no food, no oxygen, not enough rain, and innumerable other problems. Problems we cannot even imagine. How will we breathe if there are no plants? How will we, how will the animals which eat plants, how will they survive? Forget animals, how will we breathe if there is no oxygen? Nobody will be able to breathe, right? It will only be the carbon dioxide in the complete atmosphere. We cannot imagine of the consequences if the plants are not there. So basically, scarcity of water has actually a very serious effect on plants. That is the reason we must use water very, very, mindfully and conservatively. Okay. Now, we will again read about a successful initiative. Rajasthan is a hot and dry place. We all know that Rajasthan is a hot place. The challenge of natural scarcity of water was met by a successful experiment. We all know that there is not much of rainfall which happens in Rajasthan. That area is mostly dry and hot. But the scarcity of water, the scarcity of rainfall was actually beautifully met, very successfully met by an experiment. What was the experiment? What was the experiment? A band of social workers has transformed a dry area in the Alwar district into a green place. So basically, few social workers, they transformed a completely dry area into a green place in the district of Alwar. How did they do that? They have revived 5 dried up rivers: Arveri, Ruparel, Sarsa, Bhagani and Jahazwali by constructing water harvesting structures. They actually, constructed structures where the rainwater can be harvested. So they, harvested water and they actually revived the dried up rivers. 5 dried up rivers were revived by these social workers. So it was just an experiment which actually helped in, in meeting the scarcity of water in Rajasthan. Okay. So with this, we end this topic. I hope you have understood how important water is in our lives, how we should change our daily routine, our daily habits of dealing with water. How can we conserve water? What is rainwater harvesting? How can we actually store water? Or how can we stop water from being wasting?